It was the game that brought the Grand Theft Auto franchise into 3D and turned it into the Houser brothers' personal money printer for the next couple of decades. The sixth console generation was starting to take off by 2001, seeing heavy hitters from more than one series, among them being Grand Theft Auto 3. With Body Harvest and Space Station Silicon Valley as reference, Rockstar North, still known as DMA Design at the time, aimed to build up a full 3D city that felt modern and lived in. Beyond that, they also wanted to give a degree of making your own entertainment beyond the main story, similar to the likes of Shenmue or even the 2D GTAs. Developed using the Renderware engine, the game's set in the New York-inspired Liberty City, a name first used in the original game. It also serves as the first game in the series to have a real story to follow, as opposed to how the 2D games amounted to take missions from phones and try and get as much money as possible through various means. That said, in terms of design, this game has a lot of remnants from those early games that get ironed out in the ones that follow. Thankfully, an extra life system's not one of them, meaning the only thing you lose from being wasted or busted are your weapons and a bit of money. Response from the audience was overwhelmingly positive, as despite its October release, GTA 3 was the highest selling game in 2001. In fact, the only games to outdo it over the PS2's lifetime sales were the two main successors and a couple of Gran Turismo games. While it did get an Xbox release a couple of years later, Microsoft were evidently kicking themselves over it, as the 2021 Power On documentary revealed they were initially approached with an exclusivity deal. It's likely why the two expansion packs for GTA 4 were timed Xbox 360 exclusives. Despite us both possibly still being too young to be playing it at the time of its release, my brother and I generally enjoyed messing around with this one. That said, while I remember making it to the third island back in the day, I never actually beat it. There's a mix of just using it to mess around rather than follow the plot, me playing other games, and it being a bit tough to go back to once Vice City came out and the quality of life changes that one brought. Still, that's what this review's for. I'll be going with the unfortunately now unavailable Steam release, as I was lucky enough to grab it, the two follow-up games and the 2D games on there for £5 total back in the day. The basics of gameplay for GTA 3 are simple enough. You run around, you drive around, you shoot stuff while driving around, and you take missions for money. More often than not, these missions tend to be more trouble than they're worth, usually for the character and sometimes for the player. While later games give methods of building up your money passively through stuff like business acquisition, 3's got a more arcade feel like the 2D games, as doing stuff like blowing up cars will also net you some cash. There are also hidden packages, 100 in total, scattered about the 3 islands of Liberty City, which give rewards in the form of weapons and armour at the safe house for every 10 you collect. If you're coming into this from later games, you might end up missing a couple of features that were in those. For example, you can't swim, the in-universe justification being the water's pretty much an ocean of poison. You also can't bail out of moving cars, meaning you'll have to wait for it to come to a complete stop. Also makes one set of missions more trouble than they're worth. For more familiar territory, you have police to worry about, as doing crimes in their proximity causes you to gain a wanted level with increasing aggression the more you do. To clear it, you have pay and spray, provided you're not in a police car, or if you're on a mission it'll reset when you succeed in finishing it. You can also find bribes scattered about, which reduces the level by 1 star every time you collect one. Side missions work mostly the same as future games, giving you money for each successful level completed, but the bigger rewards are different. Taxi and paramedics are you transporting NPCs, to the hospital in the latter's case. Doing enough taxi fares will cause one to spawn at Joey's place, which is kinda useless considering what happens in the story. Firefighters there too, in which you put out fires and doing enough spawns a flamethrower at your safe houses. You'll need to do a set number, 20 total, on each island before it unlocks though. Vigilante has you driving around shooting criminals, and likely getting a wanted level for it. Also, police cars are flimsy. Do enough in a row and you get police bribes to cancel out your wanted level, 2 bribes per island. You also of course have rampages, formerly known as kill frenzies, which entails killing enough of a certain NPC group with a certain weapon in a given time limit. Paramedic's the most rewarding here, as you don't actually heal when using your safe house in this one. To get a health pickup you'll need to rescue enough NPCs, and if you save more beyond that you'll also get an adrenaline pickup, which slows down time for a while. Finishing the level 12 mission also gets you infinite sprint. Radio's been in GTA since the original game. 3 of course is no exception, bringing us 9 stations of various genres and each having their own dedicated DJ. A lot of music was composed in-house, including bringing the original game's theme tune in on Lips 106. There's also a classical music station, one I remember being my brother's favourite, as well as Flashback, which played tracks from Scarface. Might have been better in hindsight to save those for the next game really, given it's more directly a Scarface homage. Still one I enjoyed though, and it's the first appearance of DJ Tony. We also get several in-universe adverts that serve as a good reflection of media at the time. Stuff like Liberty City Survivor making fun of the rise of reality TV ideas. I'd say absurd reality TV ideas, but I don't think we're too far off from something of that nature these days. There's also the spoofing of things like Get Thing Quick machines or the mainstream rise of the internet leading to everything having a .com. On top of that, this also gave us the debut of long-standing, long-suffering GTA celebrity Laszlo, hosting Chatterbox FM, one that I tended to listen to a lot when I played back in the day. The real Laszlo was someone hired on to help out with the radio banter, and wrote up an hour-long show dealing with the various weirdos of Liberty City.
Next caller, you're on Chatterbox.
That last guy was so full of crap. Everyone knows women are made from sand.
Okay, great, another lunatic.
Laszlo the character is portrayed as a rare voice of sanity in an otherwise crazy world, at least on the surface. There are shades of his true nature that come through every now and again, such as his treatment of guest Reed Tucker for example.
This desk is made of 2-inch thick composite wood pulp and has a mahogany veneer finish. It has 3 drawers, and knowing this station, it cost $100. In his own words, Reed Tucker is about to smash it into 2 half desks. Take it away, Reed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I already visualized the desk in 2 half desks, and now I shall make it so. Dragon stance. Hey-ya! Oh! Oh, Laszlo! I think I hurt my hand. My pinky's all bent the wrong way.
Listen, Karate Kid, the desk is still in one piece. Thanks for coming on the show.
Beyond that, I think if I had to pick a moment that would cement him going forward, it's a small offhand comment about being kicked off a rock station, hinting at him being not as above the others as he initially seems. It wasn't just the world and the radios that got the star treatment, of course. Voice talent got a significant amount of celebrities coming in from various gangster films and series such as Goodfellas, The Sopranos, Reservoir Dogs and The Flintstones. While the dialogue itself largely amounts to giving out missions, everyone does at least feel like their own character, and they definitely add to that feeling of the New York underworld. They certainly also earn their paycheck too, since everyone's generally well performed even this early on in the series. For example, Cynthia Farrell, who's more known for music, gave a memorable performance as the main antagonist despite it being her first major voice role. On that note, let's take a look at the story and the missions that make it up. Because GTA 3 hadn't really figured out playable interiors yet, the obligatory bank heist serves as the story's intro instead. Catalina, not named until close to the end of the game, decides to betray her boyfriend Claude, not named until San Andreas outside the model file names. While being transported to prison, Claude's police van is attacked by Colombian cartel members, aiming for a man known only as the Old Oriental Gentleman. They also leave a parting gift on the bridge. Claude and another escapee, 8-Ball, take the chance to flee the scene and hide out in the current location of Portland.
I know a place on the edge of the red light district where we can lay low, but my hands are all messed up, so you better drive, brother.
8-Ball directs Claude to a safe house, and then a legitimate businessman's club owner by the name of Luigi Gotarelli, voiced by Joe Pantoliano,
8-Ball's got some business upstairs. Or maybe you could do me a favor. If you don't mess this up, maybe there'd be more work for you.
Luigi's first mission is pretty basic, requiring you to pick up a girl called Misty from the nearby hospital. Following that, I decided to take on some side mission stuff and get more money than I'll need at this point. Seriously, kind of funny just how easy it is to get money from firefighting here. I also like my body armour, and the best places I've found for some is up here at the southernmost part of Portland or a grassy corner just south of Joey's place. Luigi's a busy man, so his bodyguard hands off a note instructing Claude to beat up a guy who's been dosing his girls with a new designer drug by the name of Spank. He doesn't prove much of a threat, and from there you take his car and repaint it in a formal introduction to Pay and Spray before dropping it off. After that, he has Claude drive Misty to the repair shop of Joey Leone, son of the Don and voiced by Michael Rappaport, one of a couple of actors who's been in both GTA and Saints Row. He serves as another mission giver, but I like to stick to one at a time.
Luigi said you were reliable, so come back later, there might be some work for you.
Returning to Luigi, a member of the Diablo gang has been pimping on his turf. He directs you to ammunition, where a gun's waiting for you, and then you run the Diablo's car off the road and shoot the guys inside. Or take a shotgun to the face in my case. In my exploring, I got a hold of an AK-47 though, so I gave as good as I got. Lastly, Luigi has you pick up girls to provide entertainment at the policeman's ball. There are 8 in total, but in the case of mercy from the game designers, you only need to pick up 4 in the time given, with any extras serving as a bonus to your payout. In a bit of a holdover from the 2D games, there are still some missions you take from phone booths. The first is an up-and-comer in the dog food industry named Marty Chunks. His missions, named after the 80s film The Cook, the Thief, His Wife and Her Lover, have you pick up various people involved with Marty's business to have a friendly discussion about new flavours of dog food, among other things.
Get your hands off me up!
Upon bringing them to Marty, you then need to dispose of the cars you transported his business associates in different ways. The first requires you to take it to the Crusher after bringing in Marty's bank manager to discuss finance. The second is a simple Pay and Spray visit after picking up a pair of small-time insurance helpers. The third is Mrs. Chunks, as they need to update her life insurance policy, and you need to dump the car in the water. This is one where I wish bailing out was the thing in this game. Finally, just so you don't feel too bad about Mrs. Chunks, she was cheating on Marty with his loan shark. The loan shark comes out on top with this one, but money's money.
I got a little job for you, pal. The Farrelly brothers have owed me money for too long and they need to be taught some respect.
Joey's first mission sees Claude stealing the car of Mike Farrelly and taking it to 8-Ball to get it rigged. There's a time limit, but it's pretty generous all things considered. Presumably this bistro's got some good food. At least good enough for a last meal anyway. Next up is another relatively simple one, namely killing a triad spank pusher by the name of Chunky Lee Chong along with anyone protecting him. Also learning the drug originates from the Colombians.
Some new gang from Colombia or Colorado or something, I'm not really sure. Who needs details anyway?
Another free gun in the alley behind ammunition if you want it too. Joey decides to hit up a payroll van next. The problem is it's bulletproof, so you'll need to keep ramming it. Luckily, even the damage from that is superficial, and while you have to deal with a wanted level, it shouldn't be too taxing as you take it to the dock. Following an incident where I wiped myself out while still passing a rampage, and it did count for the record, we meet with the future protagonist, or past protagonist, the Liberty City Stories protagonist.
This is Pop's capo, Tony Cipriani.
Yeah, I'm Tony Cipriani.
Voiced by Michael Madsen, and certainly not his last video game role. Tony wants to hit up a triad-owned Chinese laundry for protection. After that, it's a simple matter of getting him back to his family restaurant. It's kind of funny having the classical station on for this one. Joey's beef with the Farrellys continues, as he needs a body disposed via Crusher. Getting in the car causes a pair of Farrelly cars to ambush you, and as a nice detail, the body's exposed if they ram you. Alternatively, you can find them waiting and attack first. I got to the top of the cafe nearby, and I took out the 2 cars from there before taking Joey's one to the Crusher. Last up with Joey is he needs a driver for a few men to hit up a bank. Guess this could be a candidate for obligatory bank heist too. It lands you with 3 stars on your wanted level, so get to pay and spray or grab enough bribes to clear it before dropping the men off at their hideout. More phone missions have opened up, this time from El Burro, a character first seen in the original GTA and running the Diablo gang here. He gives a mission of racing through Liberty City and hitting checkpoints. Easy enough to do with a fast car. The car shop near 8 Balls has a Banshee that works well for this. Next up is retaliation against some Mafia goons trying to take a cut of his profits. He's left a briefcase with a bomb and needs Claude to grab an ice cream van, as they like ice cream. Draw them out and trigger the bomb when they get close for your victory, and the sight of limbs and Häagen-Dazs everywhere. El Burro's next mission is basically a rampage, killing triads with a flamethrower as payback for wrecking his car. This is one mission that'll turn them hostile towards you too, so enjoy being shot at when driving through the area. The final mission is kind of a pain. You need to follow a breadcrumb trail of magazines of an adult nature in a timed mission. You gain a second of time for each magazine collected, with your vehicle being a van. Upon following the magazine thief to his location and convincing him to pay for his literature next time, you take the van to the adult bookshop. From there, the missions loop. A couple of hidden missions can also be found, which do add to your completed mission count. One is triggered by getting into toy vans scattered around the 3 islands. You'll take control of radio-controlled cars fitted with bombs and need to blow up designated gang cars. Any number is fine to pass. The other sees you driving off-road and hitting checkpoints to keep your time from running out. Anyway, with the Portland ones done, let's hit up Tony Cipriani for some work.
Take a goddamn seat. So the laundry won't pay any protection, huh? The triads think they can mess with me? Let's teach these would-be tough guys what it means to be a tough guy.
Give him some respect. No son of mine gets a bite of triads.
Sorry, Ma. Yes, Ma.
Tony's still dealing with the triads, as well as his ever-critical mother, and decides to retaliate for the laundry ambush. He sends Claude to 8 Balls for some grenades, and tasks him with blowing up some of their laundry vans. Lord knows where he goes after this, as he leaves notes for his next few missions, not to mention mispronouncing his last name.
Nobody, I mean nobody, messes with Tony Cipriani.
Probably an early take on Michael Madsen's part. Anyway, there's a protection payment waiting to be picked up. It's a trap, big surprise, so take out the attacking triads before bringing it back to Tony's. Another note instructs Claude to pick up Joey and Luigi via limo, before grabbing Tony himself and heading to Don Salvatore's place to meet about the increasing turf wars.
Tony! How's your mama? She's a great woman, you know, strong, Firenze. Now listen, you guys, you go inside while I talk to our new friend here. I see nothing but good things for you, my boy.
I have a good feeling about this guy. Salvatore is voiced by Frank Vincent, who was in both Goodfellas and Sopranos, and voiced the character in every appearance, despite some initial misunderstanding due to not being into video games. Understandable for a man in his 60s at the time, and once he realised it was just voice acting, he clearly had no problem afterwards. Now this next one is a Salvatore mission, but I'll group it with Tony's. He introduces Claude to his wife Maria. Not that one, though they were both in games released in 2001. She's voiced by another Goodfellas alum in the form of Debbie Mazar, though I first saw her in Beethoven's Second.
Yeah, I'm sure your new lapdog has everything covered, and isn't he big and strong? Hey Fighter, let's go visit Chico and get some party treats.
While Salvatore discusses business with his boys, Claude drives Maria around the city, first to pick up some enhancement for a party and then heading to the party itself. Too bad said party ends up getting raided. After a quick stop at Paint Spray, Maria's slightly less dismissive of Fido, or Claude.
You know, I enjoyed myself for the first time in a long while, and you treated me really good with respect and everything. Well, I better go. I'll see you around, I hope.
Also, I thought she was Salvatore's daughter back in the day, thanks to the confusion of him calling her his girl. I guess the chatterbox call she had should have been the clue there. Back with Tony's notes, he hands off a group of his men to go take out some triad captains. Said men go down pretty much instantly. You'll also need a triad fish van to get one of their captains, as he's holed up in their factory.
We're gonna finish the triads and Liberty once and for all.
Oh, hey Tony, we're starting to forget what you look like. Anyway, speaking of the factory, Claude's instructed to transport a rigged trash van there. Try not to bump too much either, as that bomb's sensitive. That's got the triads out the picture for now. Well, story-wise anyway, they still attack you. Salvatore is our last mission giver in Portland, aiming to learn where the cartel are making spank. On top of that,
we got us a rat.
You need to follow the suspected rat, a bartender at Luigi's called Curly Bob, being careful not to get too close. He meets with his cartel contact at the dock, who just so happens to be Catalina and her henchman Miguel.
Here's your spank, squealer. Now talk.
Bob leaks info on the turf wars, as well as Salvatore's growing paranoia. Following that, showing what happens to rats in the Leone family. As for that comment about Salvatore's paranoia, probably nothing to worry about. We're in his good books after all. Realising the ship Bob met Catalina is serving as a spank factory,
I'm asking you to destroy that spank factory as a personal favor to me, Salvatore Leone. If you do this for me, you will be a made man. Anything you want.
Salvatore directs Claude to 8-Ball to help take it out. 8-Ball needs $100,000 to get enough firepower to take it down. I mean, that's a lot of money and all. This mission serves as our ship shootout, albeit as a sniper rather than invading the ship itself. Just take out any cartel before 8-Ball gets too close. Kinda lucky he didn't lose the use of any more of his limbs and all that.
I'm proud of you, my boy. You kicked the shit out of those grease balls.
Just one more mission with Salvatore and it's another cleanup.
There's a car around the block from Luigi's club. The inside is covered in brains.
Seems simple enough. Just find the car near Luigi's. Well, that's just going to spray even more brains over it. Okay, what you actually need to do is head to a dock near Callahan as instructed by Maria, who messages you warning it's a trap. The reason Salvatore rigged the car?
I told him we were an item. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
Thanks, Maria.
I've got to get out of here too. I've seen too much killing, too much blood.
Plot still works with the whole she's Salvatore's daughter angle too. You know, some schmuck off the streets getting involved with the Don's daughter. Anyway, my teenage self's misunderstanding aside, Maria introduces Claude to Asuka Kasen. She has a boat ready to take everyone to Staunton Island just in time for repairs on Callahan Bridge to be completed. She also gives Claude a new safe house.
There's a warehouse at the edge of Belleville that should suit your needs.
And as a bonus, Staunton Island has ammunition and paint spray actually marked on the map, at least for now. I decide to take a bit of time to explore the island and take in the new sights. I also search for this island's best place for body armour, a building north of your safe house next to the stadium for the record. Following that, it's time for our newest mission giver.
Let's lay our cards on the table. I am Yakuza, and I know you worked for Salvatore Leone's family. I can give you work with our organization, but first you must prove to me that your ties with the Mafia are truly broken.
Asuka figures the best show of loyalty Claude can give is to kill Salvatore, knowing he's at Luigi's currently. There's an ad about suing your boss in this game, but killing him is on another level. Still, he did just try to bomb Claude, so I say an eye for an eye. This also has the knock-on effect of making the Mafia hostile, leaving a good chunk of Portland a no-go as a lot of them have shotguns.
Salvatore's death comes as pleasurable news. You're an efficient killer. I like that in a man. Ah, this is my brother, Kenji.
Asuka has a little job for you, but when you're done, drop by my casino and we can talk.
Next mission has Asuka get Claude on killing some FBI agents, or Mafia in the original release, as they're setting up a surveillance team. Thankfully the local ammunition has sniper rifles for sale. She later leaves a note for Claude, as a paparazzi's been snooping around. There's a police boat nearby that you'll need to chase him down and shoot him out the water. Rockstar do seem to enjoy abusing paparazzi through the series. Not that it's not warranted, giving all photographers a bad name. Of course, the hardest part of this mission is getting back onto land, as you don't pop onto the dock when you exit the boat.
It's my handsome handyman. It's time you met our man inside the LPD. Here's a payment for the last little job he did for us. He is understandably cautious.
You're on a timer for the next mission, driving around a bunch of phone booths directed by Asuka's contact. Upon reaching the final one, you're directed to the park bathroom, where corrupt cop Ray Machowski is waiting for his payment.
You must be Azuka's new errand boy. I know what you're thinking. Another bent cop. Well, it's a bent world.
He's voiced by Robert Loggia. That's R as in... Really? You want me to do that bit? Just search up the Family Guy clip with Robert Loggia. Another note from Attica directs Claude to kill an undercover cop named Tanner, a dig at the game Driver. You have to deal with a 4-star wanted level as you wreck his car, but once it takes enough damage he gets out and it's just a matter of running him down. Next up we have some more phone missions, courtesy of the Jamaican Yardie leader King Courtney. Like El Burro, his first mission is racing through checkpoints across the district. The difference here is there are 15 total and you need to hit as many as possible before the other drivers manage to. Thankfully the AI of the other drivers isn't particularly great. Get 8 of them and you're in the safety zone. Following this, Courtney sends Claude with 2 of his men back into Portland. You'll need to take out 10 Diablos from the car and then get back to Yardie turf. You know, because we hadn't pissed off every gang in Portland yet. Speaking of pissed off gangs in Portland, Courtney wants Claude to grab some gang cars. One is Yakuza, which isn't too tough given one's at Asuka's, but he also wants a Diablo car, and worse yet, a Mafia car, best found at Salvatore's place. Thankfully paint spray is close to the drop-off point, so any damage taken can be repaired quickly provided you get out of Portland. Courtney wants Claude to pick up a car. You'd think that'd be simple, but it's a trap set by Catalina, who's got some guys high on spank and strapped with bombs. You need to blow up the vans the guys are coming from to complete this one. As an added bonus, the Yardies are now hostile. Gratitude at its finest. Let's hope Kenji's not as bad.
My sister speaks highly of you, though I'm yet to be convinced that a guy Jin can offer anything but disappointment.
Well, at the very least, let's hope he doesn't actively try to kill Claude. His first mission is to grab a police car, rig it up, and drive it to the side of the police station. You'll need to deal with a 3-star wanted level through either bribes or pay and spray before getting the former prisoner to a dojo in the south. Next up, we have a title drop mission. Kenji wants Claude to pick up some cars to pay off an old debt. No idea why this one's timed, but at the very least the drop-off is right next to pay and spray, so you can repair any damage quickly. I also managed to get the GTA 1 theme on the radio, fittingly enough. Kenji's learned the cartel and Yardies are planning to work together to push Spank on the streets. For this one, you'll need to grab a Yardie gang car, which happens to be a different model from the one you drove with King Courtney's men earlier, and head to the hospital, shooting up everyone there alongside a Yakuza henchman. Following that, grab the briefcase left behind and head back to the casino.
To be truly strong, it is important that you never show weakness. The businesses fortunate enough to have our protection settle their accounts today.
Simple enough mission next up, just grabbing some protection money. One of them has a guy waiting, but he's taken care of easily. The other requires another visit to Portland, as the Diablos got to the payment first. Just have to introduce them to an 8-ball special before grabbing the payment.
You. How fitting you should choose this moment to show your worthless face. It would appear your attempts to dissuade the Jamaicans from becoming bedfellows with the cartel were wholly inadequate. I will give you one last chance to prove my sister's faith in you to be well-founded.
Turns out the cartel and Yardies worked out the potential differences. You'll need to kill at least 8 Yardie dealers as they pop up on the streets. They only appear for a limited time, but honestly, if you plan your route properly, you won't have too much trouble getting the minimum number. At least Kenji's anger didn't have him call the Yakuza on Claude. Either way, next up is seeing what work Ray's got for us.
That scumbag, McCaffrey! He took more bribes than anyone. He thinks he's gonna get an honorable discharge if he turns state evidence.
Ray's first mission for Claude is to take out another corrupt cop by the name of McCaffrey. Simple enough, at least provided you can get the damn grenade through the window. You get a wanted level for that, but if you're fast enough, you won't even make it out the alley. Next up, Ray wants Claude to help out an old war buddy from his days in Nicaragua, as the cartel are gunning for him. Turns out to be Phil Cassidy, in a point where he isn't voiced by Gary Busey. He's got plenty of heavy gear scattered around, so make use of it to take out the attackers. Unfortunately, the tank isn't available for use, at least not yet.
I know a real important man in town, a soft touch with, shall we say, exotic tastes and the money to indulge them. He's involved in a legal matter, and the prosecution has some rather embarrassing photos of him at a morgue party or something.
There's a car with some evidence of a high-profile individual going around. Claude's got to ram it to get all 6 pieces of evidence from it, while also dealing with the 2-star wanted level. I also got unlucky enough to get surrounded by cartel members once I got it all. Let's just say I had a close call. Anyway, the evidence is left in whatever car you get into once you get all 6 pieces, and you just need to destroy that car afterwards.
I think my partner's a rat! We gotta shut him up permanently!
Everyone's against Ray, so he has Claude take out his former partner on the force. In another boat mission, we see the partner employing the Resident Evil 4 method of fishing. He'll drop some explosives as you shoot at him, but thankfully it's not a one-shot.
Useless bastard! You're totally messed up! My ass is on the line, and you can't even kill a goddamn fly! I paid you good money to kill that witness, and he ain't dead! He's being moved any second now from the Carson General Hospital up in Rockford.
Maybe you stopped driving the boat before it exploded. You can survive the explosion if you do that for what little it's worth. Anyway, intercept the ambulance and deal with another wanted level for your trouble. Once it's taken enough damage, the partner's ejected and immobile thanks to his body cast. Made of tough stuff as it's bulletproof. Not run-over proof, however. With him taken care of, it's time to go meet with Ray's high-profile contact with a penchant for morgue parties.
First of all, let me thank you for dealing with that personal matter. People will read something into anything these days. Experience has taught me that a man like you can be very loyal for the right price, but groups of men get greedy.
Donald Love is a media mogul, and sometimes heard on the radio giving PSAs. Kyle MacLachlan's performance of the character is another standout one, giving Donald this air of reverence and charisma that makes you pay attention when he talks. Remember the old Oriental gentleman? Donald's been paying ransom to the cartel for his freedom, but they keep upping the price. He assigns Claude to steal a cartel gang car and enter the compound the man's being held, taking out any cartel guards before rescuing him.
Nothing drives down real estate prices like a good old-fashioned gang war, apart from an outbreak of plague, but that might be going too far in this case.
Next up is a contender for the hardest mission in the game. Donald wants Claude to kill Kenji and make it look like the cartel were behind it. Make sure you've done his missions beforehand, as you'll be locked out of them for obvious reasons. This mission amounts to grabbing a cartel gang car and killing Kenji from it. If you get out, the game's up, and you have to deal with a helicopter shooting at you courtesy of a 3-star wanted level. I used Professional's method for this, namely shooting at Kenji's guards from a distance before taking out Kenji himself. Once he's down, get out of dodge and ditch the car once you're a safe distance. Somehow the Yakuza are none the wiser that Claude did this, but if I want to take a quick shortcut through China, next up is another contender for hardest mission in the game.
In these days of moral hypocrisy, certain valuable commodities can be hard to import. On its approach to the airport tonight, a light aircraft will pass over the bay.
You need to drive around the bay and pick up some packages that the plane drops. Problem is, you build up a 5-star wanted level for getting them all. Rather glad the bribe reward for vigilante missions is tied to number completed rather than level, as I've gotten all 4 up to this point. Of course, there's also pay and spray, if you can get there. Completing this also opens the route to Shoreside Vale, the final island. You can get there before that through the subway, but this is the official method.
You weren't followed. Good. This is it. I'm way over my head and I'm starting to drown here.
Ray's got the CIA closing in on him, and he wants Claude to get him to the airport. Agents are guarding the bridge, so head north to the tunnels and use those to get to the airport. As thanks, Ray leaves you a weapon cache and a bulletproof car. He also leaves a message saying he'll see you in Miami. I hear it's a city that has plenty of vices.
Thank you for retrieving those packages, but they were only a decoy. Sorry about that, but that's sometimes the way in business.
Donald's next mission for Claude is to grab the real target from the plane, as it's been detained at the airport. Unfortunately, the cartel have beaten you to the punch, so take them out. A van points to the construction site on Staunton, so head there and snipe the cartel patrolling, as they have some heavy firepower on them. Making it to the top of the building, we find Catalina.
Hey, take it easy, amigo. No es nada, no es nada.
I left you pouring your heart out into the gutter.
Hey, don't shoot, amigo. No problem. We all friends?
She betrays Miguel and Assassin's Creed's her way out of there. Turns out Donald's gang war ploy worked, as Asuka's also gunning for the cartel.
You're not the only one that has a score to settle with the cartel. This worm killed my brother.
I never killed no Yakuza.
Liar! We all saw the cartel assassin. You. Drop by later. I'm sure I'll require your services.
Please, amigo. Don't leave me here with her, man. She's psycho, chico, man. Please, amigo. Hey, amigo. Amigo.
Not sure what he was expecting. Why would Claude care that he's about to be tortured? Anyway, Claude leaves Miguel with Asuka as he transports the package back to Donald. I decide to give Shoreside Vale a quick going over before the next mission. Best place for armour is a lock-up behind the police station, for the record.
You are proving to be a safe investment. A rare thing in these days of falsehood.
Escort missions. Everyone's favourite. You need to drive alongside the transport van as you head over to Shoreside Vale through the tunnels. Cartel cars will try to ram it every so often, so put your drive-by skills to use. Worth going a bit ahead too, as a couple of gunmen are camping out. This can be a bit of a clincher of a mission, as I only just managed to get it to its location with only a tiny bit of health left. Also, for some reason it was grinding against the wall in the final stretch.
A lesson in business, my friend. If you have a unique commodity, the world and his wife will try to wrestle it from your grasp, even if they have little understanding as to its true value.
Now that the package has been analysed, Donald assigns Claude to draw police away to allow his man to slip away with it. The 6 stars is a bit of a fake out, it's actually closer to 4. 6 stars would have either FBI cars or tanks attacking. Driving around in the tunnels is a good idea for this one, as it allows you to avoid being shot at by helicopters. Survive for 3 minutes and you're good. Returning to Donald's place, he's gone along with the package's contents. The contents are basically the Pulp Fiction briefcase, as many before me have said. A leaked design document said it was money plates, so go with that if you like. If not, I don't know, nuclear launch codes, a cannibal cookbook, the secret to making spank, it's really up to you. Like the other 2 islands, Shoreside Vale has its own phone missions, and they're some of the only missions you get while actually on Shoreside Vale. D-Ice, incarcerated leader of the Southside Hood gang, the Red Jacks, wants Claude to handle the upstart Purple Nines. This amounts to a rampage done via drive-by, requiring you to gun down 20 Purple Nines. Red Jacks also tend to get caught in the crossfire too and will fire back, as D-Ice himself warns. Next up is another explosive RC car mission, not too far from this island's actual RC car mission. The twist is you only have 4 and you have to blow up 3 armoured vehicles. Not too hard, so long as you avoid anything else on the road. The third mission sees you driving D-Ice's car all the way over to a garage in Portland to defuse a bomb with a 6-minute time limit, making sure to avoid too much damage. Thankfully the cartel that usually take pot shots at you around the general area seem to go neutral for my run. Afterwards, take it to a pay and spray to repair any damage it did take and park it where you found it. D-Ice informs Claude of a platinum shipment that spilled near the airport, though it's actually Pike Creek. You need to grab and deliver at least 30 pieces before time runs out. The catch is your car gets weighed down the more you collect at once. Best way around it is to get a fast car like an Infernus or a Banshee and collecting 5 to 10 pieces at a time before delivering it to the garage. Lastly, D-Ice has Claude team up with his brother against a gang of Purple Nines in a brawl. The catch is everyone can only use baseball bats. Given the quality of enemy AI here, that's honestly a pretty easy win. For once, no one turns hostile here either. Asuka's kept herself busy beating info out of Miguel in the meantime. She tells Claude that Catalina's got some hit squads across shoreside gunning for him. With that in mind, she decides to have Claude draw them out and lead them to a squad of her men to fill them full of holes. If they're killed anywhere but the Yakuza trap zone, it'll count as a mission failure, however, so be careful not to attack them too much.
We underestimated Catalina's plans for Spank. It reaches far beyond the yardies selling it on the street corners.
One of the longer missions up now, as you're searching across all 3 islands for coffee stands selling Spank. 5 around Staunton, and 2 each on Portland and Shoreside. This is timed, but the clock doesn't start until you wreck the first stand. I went with Portland first, and while the Mafia's armaments are nerfed for this mission, this one's best suited for the car you get from Ray. While I personally never got this far back in the day, knowing of this mission is partly why I scouted each island when I first got to them. It can be a close call, but as always, it's just a case of planning the route properly. I also got lucky in that my car only caught fire right as I was putting it away.
Do we tighten it some more now or just wait for it to turn black and fall off?
Give it a quick prod.
Oh, what is that gooey yellow stuff? Oh, hey, babe!
My handyman.
I was bored, so I came over to keep Asuka company.
So much for Maria being sick of the violence and killing, I guess. Asuka sends Claude to the surrounding waters of the airport, as a shipment of Spank is coming in that way. Provided with the rocket launcher, you have to shoot the plane out the sky and pick up the goods. If you're lucky, none of it will even reach the airport, though you'll still have a 4-star wanted level to deal with. Taking it back, you find Asuka and Miguel dead, and a note from Catalina saying to bring $500,000 for Maria's safety. Honestly makes some degree of sense. They were in cartel territory and probably should have moved. Now $500,000 is definitely a crazy amount of money and is certainly a lot to hand over.
You have been a busy boy.
In another massive surprise, this is a trap. Being in the year 2001 means Claude has some limited matrix powers, however. Take out any cartel in the way and make your escape. Catalina flies off to the dam, and once again you're on a timer. I had about 70 packages, so I decided to detour to the safe house and grab what was in my cache, as you lose all your weapons upon starting this mission. There is a sniper rifle hidden off to the side as you progress through the dam. Definitely welcome, as they have some heavy weaponry that'll cut through you if you aren't careful. Work your way through, and also be careful of their vehicles along the way. Catalina will board a helicopter again and fire at the ground. Grab the nearby rocket launcher and fire right back. Say goodnight, Catalina.
Residents in Cedar Grove have been coming to terms with the emotional aftermath of a full-blown war that hit the area yesterday.
Oh, we're gonna have such fun, because, I love you. I really do, because you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I need. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover. Several citizens were injured in the panic as gunfire was exchanged between ground forces and a helicopter circling the dam.
Yeah, we got a good view from down here in the gardens. When the copter finally got taken out, better than the fireworks on the 4th of July.
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
No one knows if Claude actually shot Maria there. Even Rockstar won't commit to an answer. I'm going with he did, because I'm pretty sure after spending 9 years with Catalina, Claude's probably not willing to deal with going through it all again with Maria. Either way, you make your money back and then some. You also get access to the tank at Phil's place, so go have fun blowing things up. Up to you what else to do from here on. Phone missions if you didn't already, more side missions, getting the hidden packages, whatever. Just be careful of the hostile gang still gunning for you. Well, it took over 20 years, but I finally beat Grand Theft Auto 3. I have to say, it wasn't quite as rough as I was expecting it to be, though that may well be down to me having more experience with playing games since then. Not to say I didn't have trouble here and there. Pretty sure Wakagashira Wipeout still gives a lot of people problems even now. Or just a matter of patience and planning things out in the end. As far as criticisms go, most of what I say here tends to get ironed out in later games anyway. Being unable to bail from cars is a big one that was fixed in the next game, of course. Weapon variety is not as big as later games, but decent enough, if a bit unbalanced with some of them. Not really a major issue, as not too many missions really focus on gunplay. Plus with a few of your targets you can just run them down anyway. Feels like they put a lot of missions on a timer too, even when it didn't feel like it was needed. Some of them can be tight, but as I said throughout, it does help to learn the layout of the area. That said, they don't really make it very easy because there isn't a map in the pause menu, and that probably would have helped. Definitive fixes that, but let's just say I'm aware of that version's issues and leave it at that, even if 3 is apparently the least glitched game in that collection. Still, it's not too tough to get a handle on the islands and the key areas, though Shoreside Vale feels a bit under-designed overall. With all that said, it's worth mentioning just how much actually manages to land. Driving's generally solid enough, even with the issues I mentioned regarding boats. Only one airborne vehicle, and it only really works with gravity cheats switched on, but there are people out there who've managed to rise to the challenge, I suppose. Guess the time of the game's release is to blame for that one anyway. Vocal performances are all generally good, and there's a little bit of characterisation that comes through here and there that they managed to refine in later games. The Yakuza cartel gang war gives a bit of character to Asuka, and Salvatore is given enough personality despite his brief appearance that it led to Rockstar giving him more appearances. While I could talk about potentially getting more involved in stuff like the Mafia Triad War or the Yakuza Cartel War, Claude's likely not interested in anything besides revenge on Catalina, so he's basically using them as much as they use him, and any gang wars are secondary. At least that's my thoughts on him, and making him a silent protagonist allows for whatever interpretation you want, honestly. Radio's also fun to listen to, giving us some first appearances of mainstays like Laszlo, Fernando Martinez, and to a lesser extent DJ Tony. Not quite as expansive selection as later games have, but some fun stuff to listen to either way. I enjoy the design of Liberty City. There's a murkiness to it that helps it stand out from the other 2 well-known cities of GTA. The greyness of a lot of it gives this sinister feeling like everything's out to kill you, and by the end of the game it generally is. Even this early on, there's also a few little things to appreciate too. Ad slogans, brands that show up in future games here and there. Plus I also took note of this clock on Staunton that syncs up with the HUD's clock. Just a small thing, but gives the game some character and care. Whether to recommend it? I'd say go for it if you're interested in seeing the roots. Yeah, it's going to feel scaled back in a lot of ways, but it's certainly still playable. Tough to get hold of the original release nowadays though, with all the delistings. I do still see PS2 copies going for pretty cheap, so that's probably the way to go if you don't want to bother with the definitive edition. If you do go with definitive, I don't know, there's probably more than enough mods out there to keep it stable by now. Either way, I enjoyed my time with this, and it was nice to finish something even if it was far later than a lot of people. Good foundation that only gets improved on in later entries. Until next time.